Hi everyone, this is Flavia and welcome to another Christmas all year round edition. Today we will be creating quick and easy Christmas note cards, and I will show you a trick for adding a lot of color and sparkle to lots of stamped images at once. Before we begin, let's take a look at the stamp set that I will be using today. Here we have two stamp sets by Spellbinders. They are part of the House Mouse Holiday Collection. This one on the left is the Bringing Christmas to You. This is actually the one that I will be using today. It is included in the set 2 sentiment stamps and this large image stamp featuring adorable Monica carrying a larger-than-life ornament. This other one on the right is the Merry and Bright stamp set. I will not be using this one today, but I just wanted to show you another example of how adorable this collection is. This set is featuring Sweet Muzzy and 2 sentiment stamps that are just perfect for this image. One is You Light Up the Holidays and the other one is Have a Merry and Bright Christmas. Even though I will not be using this one today, I have been creating with this set a lot, and here are just a few note card examples featuring the Merry and Bright stamp set. To stamp the images, I used black pigment ink and I heat emboss it with clear embossing powder so my images have a little bit of gloss in person. Also, to make the lights glossy, I applied Ranger Glossy accents. For the second note card, I stamped that same image twice so I could have 2 adorable characters. Another great idea would be to create a slimline note card and keep on stamping the same image as many times as possible. For all of these note cards, I used Copic markers and I did a little bit of stitching around the front panel. If you're interested, there is a supply list in the description box down below of all products used today, so you can check it out later. So let's begin by stamping our image. I'm using my mini Misty stamping tool, and since this is a cling stamp, I went ahead and removed that black foam that comes with the Misty. Cling stamps are pretty bulky and we do not need to keep that in the Misty when stamping with cling stamps. Once I have my cling stamp exactly where I want it to go, I will close my Misty stamping tool so my cling stamp gets stuck to the acrylic door so I can start stamping as many images as I need at once. I will use a magnet bar to hold my cardstock in place, and I will use Memento Tuxedo black ink to stamp these images. I'm stamping this image on a piece of Hammermill 100 pounds cardstock that I cut to 5.5 by 4.25. When creating many note cards at once, I like to break it into steps to be more efficient, instead of trying to finish one note card at a time. And that is why I'm stamping lots of images at once. If you're not great at coloring, do not feel intimidated by this collection, because as you can see here, these images are just beautiful as they are. So I don't think we need to be experts at coloring to be able to create beautiful note cards with this collection. And since I'm one of those crafters who are not really great at coloring, I will show you a great trick, which is to create a stencil for these stamped images so we can quickly ink blend the large areas instead of coloring. For this technique, it is definitely better if you use masking sheets. However, since I didn't have any, I will use full sticky notes. On one sticky note, I will stamp the large ornament, and on another one, I will stamp Monica. The stamping on the sticky note doesn't have to be perfect, because what we really need is just the outline of these images so we can fussy cut it. This technique is definitely better when working with large images. So it was a little bit tricky to create the stencil for Monica since it is so tiny. However, at the end I was able to go over the spots that I missed with a marker. So once I have my stencils ready, I can go ahead and start adding color to all of my panels at once. I will start by ink blending all of the Christmas ornaments at once using Concord N9, Cranberry dye ink, and a blending brush. Because these post-it pages are very small, I added 3 more pieces to protect my panel. And even though they are not the best alternative for this technique, I was able to ink blend all of my panels using one same stencil. Once I'm done adding color to the ornaments for all of the panels that I stamped, I will go ahead and add a little bit of gold shimmer to these Christmas ornaments. However, because the stencil that I created for the Christmas ornament was made out of Post-it and very lightweight, I created another stencil for the Christmas ornament made out of heavyweight cardstock so I could better protect the rest of my panel. Here is a closer look so you can see how much sparkle this shimmery spray adds to our projects. Once that's done, we can go ahead and add color to Monica. I will use Simon Says Stamp Bubblegum Ink Pad for her face and Concord and 9th Dove Ink Pad for the rest of her body. Before I move on to the next step, I will use a sand eraser to remove any ink stains, and because the stencil that I created for Monica was not so perfect, I will go over the areas where I missed with gray Copic markers. Using a golden and green gel pen, I added a few more accents to the ornament, and here is a closer look so you can see how much sparkle it adds. To finish this panel up, I will add some color to the ground by using Concord and 9th Aqua Ink Pad and a large blending brush. Next, I will use this large plate to cut out golden frames for my panel. This die plate was included in the Spellbinders December 2021 Small Die of the Month, and unfortunately it is not available anymore. If you don't have a die frame like this, remember that we can simply adhere this panel to an A2 size note card. Another option, if you want the front of your panel to also have a golden trim, is to cut this stamped panel to 4 by 5¼ inches and then adhere it to a golden panel that measures 5½ by 4¼ inches. This way you will have just a little bit of gold around your stamped panel. To die cut each panel, I will tape the metal frame to my cardstock just to make sure it doesn't shift as I run it through my die cut machine. I will also temporarily place the sentiment stamp on top to make sure that I have enough space to stamp a sentiment later. If you also choose to die cut this panel, I highly suggest you also secure your metal plate in place with a piece of tape to prevent it from shifting, because you definitely do not want to risk messing this up after all of that work. Once I'm done die cutting all of my frames and panels, I will go ahead and stamp the sentiment on top. To stamp my sentiment, I will place my panel inside my Misty stamping tool, and I will temporarily place my Simon Says Stamp Grid Transparency on top just to protect my panel for now. To make sure that I will like the end result, I will first stamp this sentiment over this transparent grid that I have inside my Misty stamping tool. And since I like the result, I will clean up this grid, remove it from my stamping platform, and start stamping directly onto my panels. After that, I can go ahead and adhere my golden frames to the front of my note cards. I will use a needle tip bottle to apply liquid adhesive and a pair of self-lock tweezers to help me hold this piece in place. If I happen to have any glue oozing out, I will immediately go over these panels with a piece of paper towel. Here is a closer look at the completed note card. It does not have a lot of dimension like most of my note cards usually do. However, I absolutely love all of the sparkle that we got thanks to that shimmery spray and the golden frame. I hope you enjoyed this video and felt inspired. For pictures and more information, make sure to visit my blog. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel. I appreciate you watching this video until the end. I hope you have an amazing day and happy crafting!